Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Meg, and this is Ger Can Get It. This week, sweetness is a complicated thing, Rachel. It's as complicated as anything else, or it would never be worth having. What the fuck did we watch?
What the fuck was this?
If they gave awards for makeouts on screen or stage, this guy would get a lifetime achievement. He'll find any excuse to get right, to suck and face. You honestly wouldn't believe it. Dissecting each and every kiss with tongue. There's only one conclusion to come to. It's that Ger can get it. Ger can get it.
Okay. I'm going to read some synopsises for this. Okay.
I'm putting you in charge this week because
Apparently, The Hidden Room was an American drama horror anthology series geared towards women. So this was an attempt to make like a Twilight Zone or an Outer Limits that women would watch. And they aired it on the Lifetime Network, which kind of reminds me of how Blood Ties aired on the Lifetime Network. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I'm aware that that's where it aired in the States. Before we get into the synopsis of this show. So the show is called The Hidden Room. The episode that we watched is season 2, episode 1, which good job, Ger, for not being at the end of a series. I mean, the show only had 2 series, but we're gonna move past that.
Yeah.
2 seasons. Sorry, 2 seasons. It's from 1993, and the episode is called Dangerous Dreams. And this is this was so fucked up. This whole show, as you said, it seemed like the premise of the show was, what if Outer Limits, but with half the budget, and we hate women and think they're stupid, and also all the episodes are like, they're about horror, but like the horror of being a female person in the world, which is like, give me monsters and shit. Like, give me Dracula, give me Cthulhu. Don't give me I had a miscarriage and I'm traumatized by it. That's not the same kind of show. That's a very different.
Like, what if women got so hysterical it actually manifested as something supernatural? Yeah? Yeah, are you following me? Oh my God. There was a bunch of dude TV executives all sitting around a table slapping each other on the back like, oh my God, this is money. Women are going to love this. They love it when they eat this shit up. You know, like when you marry a guy and he's got a teenage daughter and she's a total bitch, but she's such a bitch that you start having like a psychic connection with her, right? Like, this is definitely going to be great. Every woman is going to be like, yeah, that would totally have helped when I married the hot guy.
Yeah. I will say though that in this episode, controversial take, I did not think the kid was a total bitch. I thought the kid was just kind of a teenager. I thought Martha was a fucking bitch dump truck. I hated Martha so much.
I hated everybody in this episode. So
I mean, that's fair. That's a natural response.
Everyone was pretty much dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay. I mean, I'm sure we're going to get there, but when she was cleaning out the garage, Ger asks her to clean out the garage. And so she's cleaning out the garage and throwing away the dead mom's stuff.
Well, calling it ugly. Well, like making fun of the style. We'll get there in like 12 seconds because this TV show was a real TV show. It wasn't just a fever dream that Rachel and I had. But if you Google, it seems like it's almost apocryphal at this point. Like, people remember it being on television you said it was on air from what, 91 to 93?
Yeah, 91 to 93.
So people remember it. But there's no VHS, there's no DVDs, and there's no scanned in episodes into YouTube, at least as far as I can tell, or like any other less than legitimate or like other less than legitimate avenues. But there are people all over the internet going, do you remember this show? Do you remember this show that was on in the 90s, like that I used to watch when I was a kid? Does anyone have any episodes? Does anyone have any leads? Like, people are on the hunt for this thing, and like half the responses are, I've never heard of the show. What are you talking about? Are you crazy? And the other half are like, did you dream it too? It's so weird. But we have snuck into a very kindly world of Garrett Winn-Davies super fans who recorded everything he's ever been in and like kept it on VHS tapes in their basements for 30 years, like pristine. It's wonderful. So the VHS tape that we were very kindly gifted earlier this year, or allowed to borrow earlier this year, included this one episode of The Hidden Room. So we got to see this thing that like nobody has seen in 30 years. That being said, I do not recommend it.
The power of Ger Can Get It. It's trash. That's why it disappeared, but we saw it anyway.
Yeah, I feel like normally I am with everyone who's like, no, let me find this this esoteric, hidden, hasn't been seen in a million years, like locked in a basement content. Like I am here for that. In this one instance, I'm like, no, I get why it was in the vault. I get that. It was okay to be in the vault. That was fine. It could have stayed there.
I cannot imagine how poorly the rest of this would have aged.
Well, especially, did you read the episode synopsis? Did I?
No, I haven't read them yet.
Please.
Let me enlighten our listeners about some of the truly imaginative women problems that the male writers decided we have. Season 1, episode 1 is, after the stillborn birth of her child, a woman disconnects herself from her husband and retreats to the comfort of a fantasy world. Yeah, that sounds like Twilight Zone, but for women.
Twilight Zone, if it fucking hated you. Like
a young woman, played by Lara Flynn Boyle, by the way, in college, confronts and ultimately reveals that she's an incest victim at the hands of her father.
Haha, spooky TV show. Fucking no! Isn't that like episode 2?
That's episode 2. Episode 3 is, during a long night spent alone, a tormented former model confronts her demons, which comes to her in the form of her own shadow, which appears to be devouring all of her food.
Subtle. This show must have been known for its immaculate subtlety. So guys, what if, hear me out, we have a model and she's tormented by fat ghosts? Do you get it? Do you get it?
Women problems, am I right? Here's another
Past
one.
the rail of cocaine.
A successful writer faces her painful childhood memories and feelings of resentment towards her mother. She finds strength by calling on her childhood imaginary friend.
Oh, there's no way that episode doesn't end with the imaginary friend murdering her mom.
I like this one. When a young widow is tempted to sleep with her hunky, shirtless hired hand, her jealous husband's ghost intervenes. Nothing we love more than a man that's an asshole even after death.
I'm not gonna lie though, I would watch that. I would watch the episode. If anyone has any leads on that particular episode, please pass it my way. I want that episode. In my headcanon, the deceased ghost is played by John Kapelos.
A plain-looking woman.
Oh no! Stop there.
Has a brief affair with a dashing executive who eventually fails to see her true beauty. Yeah, that one's called A Type of Love Story.
I don't know what that means, and it bums me. Like, there's no version of that is not the saddest. Like, these aren't horror, like, ooh, scary. These are horror, like, life is miserable and then you die. Here's 22 minutes.
Here's Death of the Right Fielder. A young woman is torn between her desire to be a baseball player and the responsibilities of adult life. I love this one. Episode 13 of season 1, Rogue in the Bathroom. Honestly, the only one that I care about, wanting to know, what the fuck do you mean, Rogue in the Bathroom? And the description is, Sheila McCarthy guest stars.
What? Fucking what?
Yeah, that's it. There's no description of what it's about. Our episode 14 overall, or season 2, episode 1, a woman marries a recent widower, Garrett Wynn Davies, whose teenage daughter sees her as an imposter.
I mean, sort of. Imposter's a weird choice of word there, but like taking over from her. I don't know. This was something else. All right. I'm gonna try. I took really confused. My notes look like Rain Man wrote them. Like they are fucking there. I started curving on the side of the page. I was like, no. And then this happened. Like this was so weird.
Let me see if there's any other good ones. A conflicted young political aide defends her boss against allegations of womanizing. Later, she is killed in an accident while trying to rebuff his sexual advances.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why?
A gay psychologist's health deteriorates due to his HIV positive status. He gets comfort from his boyfriend and his coworker, Lydia.
What the fuck was this? This is so... Like, this sounds so terrible that I kind of want to do an Airwolf treatment on it. Like, I want to sit down and be like, let's just do it. Let's just mainline all of it. But I think, honestly, I would get through the end of the second season and I would just get up and walk out a window. I'd be like, nope, I'm done now. I'm done with Earth. I'm done with living. Goodbye. Because, oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my best here, but This was 22 minutes of me with my mouth just slack-jawed open staring at the screen going, did I miss a segment?
Here's an article from 1993 from the LA Times. The Hidden Reality. Lifetime series seeks to portray women's lives as they are.
I'm sorry. Do you know anyone who has a teenage stepdaughter who can set shit on fire with her mind?
Gail Glaze, co-creator of Lifetime's anthology series The Hidden Room, believes the series is the only one on television where you can see, as a woman, your own insanity reflected.
Fuck you, bitch. That's the meanest thing I've ever heard someone say about a TV show they're trying to promote.
Most females portrayed on TV, Glaze says, are so much more normal than they are in real life. There's no one normal in real life. I think it fuels everyone's sense of alienation when everyone is so much more perfect than they are. She wanted this to be real? Like, this is more real than normal female depictions on television?
This woman has psychic dreams. What the fuck is she talking about? Although, if her complaint is about perfectionism, she nailed it. Because in this episode, we all hated everyone in it. So, like, yeah, they didn't seem perfect. They all seemed to suck. They sucked a lot. Is that what she wanted? Is that what she meant by real? Fucking awful?
Oh my God, Helen Mirren was in this series?
Shut up. No, you're lying to me. Not beautiful Helen Mirren.
Yes. Apparently they're all based on short stories written by women.
Women in correctional institutions or what? Like,
okay. I don't know. This is a more redemptive, people resolve their problems as opposed to dying or going insane forever. But it's not always redemptive, is what she says. Okay, what do you mean? It's supposed to be redemptive, but it's not always redemptive?
This article sort of makes me hate this show more. I don't... It feels like that thing where you're like, I'm going to make a TV show for women, and I also think all women are stupid, and then that's my baseline, and I'm going to go from there. Like, yeah. And that's what you're telling me from this article does not sound any different. It's sort of like if we made Ikwe, but we focused on the fact that she was a girl instead of the fact that she was Native American, and you're just like, what if you just throw a bunch of crazy like woman stereotypes instead of a bunch of crazy Native American stereotypes? Like, it's
fine. That's how you make a television show. It's fine. The lady who plays the wife, what's her name?
Martha.
She was Adam Ant's girlfriend.
That's what I know her from. Oh my God! From, was it Love at First Bite or something? Love Bites? What is that movie called?
I don't think she's in that. Let me look her up. She's not in it, but she was his real life girlfriend.
Oh, God, she seemed so familiar. I was like,
she really does. She was in Ally McBeal. No, she was in LA Times. I really thought she looked familiar, but I think it's just the haircut.
When I first saw her, I thought she was the same British lady from the episode of Forever Night. Why do I keep forgetting the name of that episode?
Dying to Know You.
Yeah, because she has the same like regional accent as that woman. They are not the same, but fun fact. So I found out that the lady who was in the Forever Night episode, she's on Instagram, and she's an artist.
She was in Lair of the White Worm. That's what she was in. Did you ever watch Lair of the White Worm?
I have not. I've heard it's a thing to watch. I haven't heard that it's good, but I've heard it's a thing to watch.
Yeah, it is a thing to. That is a very good description of that movie. It is a thing to watch.
A thing to watch. This TV show is not a thing to watch. So, okay. This episode, there are basically only 4 characters, so that's something for it. I guess it's easy to keep track of. There's Ger's character, whose name is Vincent. No last name. You don't need to know. He is a guy. He has an office at home. I don't know what he does. He wears a tie sometimes, but he's not evil. He kind of sucks a little bit. I don't know. Like, there's like nothing. He's a man.
Yeah,
he's a man. He's an adult man who wears weirdly oversized sweaters that make him look like an 80s girl. That, you know, that thing where you have like the off the shoulder sweater? His sweater is like 1 inch too small to do that. But otherwise it looks like that. This is like a characteristic, I feel like, where he goes into wardrobe and they're like, what are you, like a large? We have a men's 3X, and they put that on him. And he has to like walk out confidently. Like, that's the kind of shirt that he would normally buy. And I don't get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not like a tiny man. Yeah. He's not like a large man. Like, I feel like he is a man-sized man. You should be able to find clothes in your warehouse of actors' clothing to fit him. Have him bring a sweater from home even. Like, why do you keep dressing him so weirdly? Television shows? I don't get it. Like, it's nice, but it definitely looks like oversized on purpose, like what a girl would wear to the mall in the 80s. And like, I don't get it.
It's a nice autumnal color though.
It's like an orangey, like a coral. Yeah. He's wearing like a coral sweater.
Like a warm coral though. Like a light pumpkin, really.
Light pumpkin. That's accurate. So there's Vincent, who wears his light pumpkin sweater and has a job. His teenage, I think she's 14-ish, his teenage daughter, Alice. And because this is 1993, she's dressed like it's 1967. So she's got like the little
Yeah.
knit skull cap going on, and like her little boots and her little like vest. And it's when we were in the 90s, we were like, 1960s clothing is so cool. And now that I'm watching it, I'm like, why are you wearing a skull cap? Like, it's
How did those stay on people's heads?
I don't know. I imagine like a bunch of barrettes and willpower.
Because it feels like, you remember those headbands that were just like a giant circle, and people would
Oh yeah,
just
the cloth
slide
ones.
them
Yeah,
up?
those ones
Yeah.
fall right off my head. Those
They
have
just
never
go
worked for me.
and like a cone head, they just slip right off the back of my head, and I'm always like, how do you keep it in one spot? It doesn't make any sense.
I feel that way about. Do you remember the cousin of that came out like in the 2010s, where they were like these really thin little rubber bands that people were using to like pull back their hair when they were going to do exercising, and then they just became like a fashion thing? My head's too big. I don't understand. Like, they're like these tiny little, I was like, do they stretch? And I would like try one, and I was like, no, they don't seem to stretch. Maybe I just have a monster head. I got a big pumpkin noggin. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I have to use the old Italian grandma hard plastic headband. That's the one that I invest in, because that's the only one that'll fit.
They're the only ones that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the ones, this is going to sound messed up, I like the headbands that have like the little claw on the inside that like rake your skin as you try and put them on. The ones that punish you a little bit for wearing them.
Yeah. No, those are satisfying because you get to like slide them through your hair.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
I don't know. Those kinds of hats never stay on my head either. The beanie / toboggan / whatever you want to call it.
I mean, but the positive of that is you don't look as insane as a 14-year-old girl wearing a hand-knit blue skull cap.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is very small for her. It's like she's wearing a baby.
Well, it makes her look like she's bald on top and has long hair on the sides like Gallagher.
Yeah.
The comedian Gallagher. Like, it's not a good look. It's not. If you as a teenage girl in any way resemble Gallagher, like something has gone wrong in your fashion sense. It sort of makes her look like a King Charles Spaniel. Also, like it's too smooth in the middle and then too wide in the like it's not.
It's a bad moment. It's
a bad fashion moment, but it's. I always forget that we were like into the 60s and the 90s, and then we were into the 70s and sort of the 2000s. Like, I forget that we were like we've been working our way back through the decades, because the 60s and the 90s both seem so long ago.
Yeah.
That it was kind of funny to turn this on and be like, oh yeah, I also dressed like a little asshole. I remember this. I mean, not to that extent, but like,
yeah, I had.
Yeah, we all had bell bottoms. I had at least one cropped T-shirt with like a big flower on the front, like a 60s flower power thing. Although like it was a cropped T-shirt, but also I was like 9, so like it wasn't that cropped on me. It was like a regular T-shirt because I was little. Anyways, so she's just like an asshole. Her name is Alice. She is Vincent's daughter from his first marriage, and his first wife died? ? She's dead. She's gone. It sounds like it was rough and bad, and he took care of her maybe, but she's just dead now. And then his new wife is Martha, who is a cold British bitch, and we sort of hate her. She's fucking awful. She has like that mushroom haircut that like everyone of every gender had in 1993. That like unisex,
the
uncircumcised penis haircut.
It's the one that oh my god, from Ghost.
Demi Moore.
It's the Demi Moore haircut. The bob.
Yeah, but worse. I think it looked okay on Demi Moore. It does not. It's not a great look on this lady.
No.
Very mushroomy. Very penile. I don't like it. And then Martha has. I'm not wrong. I am not wrong.
I mean, when it looks good, it looks good. But when it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah. True of penises and haircuts, both, I suppose. Yeah.
Accurate. I did not argue against you in any way. I just please refer to the 1990 whatever Playgirl College Hunks edition.
Oh, I see that when I close my like that was it's just
Mm-hmm. We need to do an episode on it at some point because technically Ger is in it. So, and it is the one porn magazine that I own.
Judgy.
You're like, so I have more. I mean, whatever.
Pulled out a box. So Martha has a friend named Lucy, I think, and she exists to just be a second location for Martha to go to sometimes, and to be a bitch next to Martha. Because if you're a bitch, you have bitch friends. That's what we've established.
Yes.
So we know that Martha and Vincent met somehow, where Martha
They
knew
were
that
lovers.
Vincent. Ugh, I hate the word lovers. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Maybe we were good as lovers, but
it's so great. I'm sorry.
My favorite line is, "Have you ever gone back to bed on a Saturday?"
Okay, the one thing that saves this episode, is that it feels like Ger was in a Ger episode, and it didn't matter what was happening with the other characters. He was just like, "You hired me, and I'm a husband, right?" And they're like, yeah, your character's the husband. And he's like, "All right, I know how to play this." And
he's like, "Got it. I need no further instructions. How do I put this chair together? It doesn't fucking matter how I put this chair together."
Him putting the chair together, I was like, I'm glad that they cut away, because we'll get there. Well, I'm trying. I'm trying here. I don't even know. So we know that the way that they met was that she was already aware of the fact that he had a wife that was sick and died, and I guess he took care of the wife and was very compassionate with her. And then she knew that this guy had a kid, and part of why she fell in love with him was because he was so caring. He was so sweet and caring. That's where that stupid sweetness quote comes from, because she was like, "Oh, I see how you took care of your wife. I see how you take care of your daughter." And I just wanted, this is why I hate her. She's like, "And I just thought that I could maybe be your reward for all those years of suffering. You know, this sexy British body could be your reward.
The gift that is me. The gift that is me. You're welcome."
Who says that? That's the fucking worst thing I've ever, if it had been, you were a very caring person and that attracted you to me and I wanted to be with you because of your caring nature and how selfless you are. I'm like, okay, I get it. But if it's, you are very caring and I thought I could be your gift for that. I could be your reward. No, bitch. Fucking what? Fucking gross. Fucking, that's a terrible way to approach. It's weirdly transactional, but I don't know, transactional, but an extra step in the future. You did good in the past, and so poof, I appeared. You're not a sex genie. It's just weird. That's weird that was how you approach this relationship. Stop it. It's awful. So
sorry, Kelly.
I'm so sorry. This is it's just so gross. It's just so from the bottom of my soul, this is not a likable character.
No,
and I think she's supposed to be, though. I mean, she's the main character. We're supposed to feel for her.
She's supposed to be trying really hard.
Oh, she's not trying at all.
She's not.
I bring that up because she knew that he was a widower with a kid when she met him and fell in love with him and started this. He didn't go, "I do," and then a teenage girl popped up out of a bush and was like, "Surprise, you're my new mom." That's not how this happened. Do you know what I mean? But it already sets it up as fucking awful. So we end up starting the episode with this woman. Well, we started the episode with them in the car, and I'll get there in a second. But we have the three of them together. The relationship is antagonistic, but it starts out and it just sort of feels like this is a teenage daughter and you married her dad and you're moving into her mom's territory, and her mom is dead and she's sad about it. And also she's 14. So she's kind of snippy and a little bitch. This seems normal and not excessive. The kid's not lighting matches and setting your hair on fire. Right. I mean, she just seems like a teenage girl who's going through an understandably rough time. This kid makes sense to me. The stepmom, Martha, her reaction is "You little twat." And I'm like, no, fucking no. But then all the other characters are like, "Martha, you're trying too hard." Bitch, Martha's not trying hard enough. Martha should try harder. Martha's putting in no effort to this relationship. You're just sitting in the car and being like, I'm sorry that your dad had to pick me up from work and you up from school. My car's in the shop. Fucking deal with it, bitch. I'm like, Martha, be less. Martha, stop it. Stop it. So we have them in the car. We establish their relationship. We end up having, I think the very next scene is Ger's character apparently was like, "Hey, Martha, go clean out the garage," which also seems weird because it's not hey, the garage needs cleaning out. I'm going to do it. It feels like he's like snapping his fingers and going, Martha, clean the garage. I'm going to go work upstairs in my office. And I'm like,
Yeah, I'm going to go do my job, whatever
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah. And she has a job too, because she makes a comment at one point like, well, then I'll just go back to the office. If we're not going to hang out and ride bikes, then I guess I'll go to the office. So I'm like, she has a job. You have a job. Why are you treating her like the maid? But like, whatever. So she goes out to the garage. Her best friend, Lucy, is there, and they're cleaning out boxes. And even though Ger's character later will be like, oh, I didn't know anything of my dead wife's was in there, when they're cleaning shit out, it feels like only his dead wife's shit is filling up this whole garage. And Lucy and Martha are like, oh, look at this ugly shit. Oh my God, so tacky. I can't believe he was married to a woman with such fucking awful taste. Who would wear this shit? Ugh. And like balling it up and like 3-pointer shotting it into the garbage can. And I'm like, wow, both of you are twats. Both of you suck. This man's wife died. Like they pull out this, like, admittedly not great looking, like purple, like nylon with feathers, like 1980s style, like, sister of the bride dress. Like it's not great.
It's very, yeah.
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 But also, it's his dead wife's dress, bitch. Cool the fuck down.
That his daughter picked out for her.
That his daughter picked out.
Yeah.
Oh,
which he had in a box in the garage.
Yeah.
Just shoved in there.
Yeah. And even if you didn't know that the daughter picked it out, which is like the final like knife in the heart, even if you didn't know that, like, who else's dress is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, Ger's not going out to the drag club on weekends in a purple dress with feathers. He has better taste than that. So like,
although they imply that. That. They're like, unless he wears it. And she's like, ew, gross. I would never marry him if he was that kind of guy. Ew.
They fucking suck. I would have loved if this episode ended with Ger in the dress being like, you know what? This
actually,
is great for my hips.
I look amazing. Fuck you.
You would do me in this dress.
Correct.
I'd do me in this dress. So yeah, it just the casual terribleness of all the characters in this, coupled with the article that you just read, where she's like, no, they're relatable, like regular people. I'm like,
yeah, they're relatable because other women on TV are not relatable, and these are in fact the most real women.
I mean, I guess in like a murder cell block.
Who among us hasn't trashed your new husband's ex-wife's shit?
Fucking dark. So she takes it,
just threw it in a trash can.
Yeah. She's like fully aware that it's the dead wife's dress, whips it in the garbage can, and then what happens? The kid comes home and is like, what's going on here? This is the dress that I bought my mom. You bitch. And I'm like, yeah, that's correct. She is a bitch. So the girl brings it in the house. The dress at this point is fine. As far as I can, like, it's, wrinkly, I guess, from being balled up. But it's fine. It's not dirty, and it's not ripped. And like, that'll be important in like 12 seconds. So the dress is fine at this point. She goes in, Ger's like, oh, I didn't know my dead wife's weird purple dress was in the garage. That's weird. So he takes it. He will hang it in the front hall closet where he's like, yeah, my daughter never looks there. And my first response to that was, that's weird. And then my immediate second thought was, you have never looked in the front hall closet in any house you've ever lived in. And like anytime that you do end up in the front hall closet, you are always 100% of the time surprised by the shit that's in there. So I was like, that is actually relatable, that there's just that one closet where I'm like, I don't know. Mysteries are in there. I never open it. I never look inside. Like, yeah, there could be a purple dead lady's dress in there. Probably.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how this is relatable. I also have a mystery closet that I never touch for fear of ghosts. So, he will bring it in the house, and then Martha will try. She like keeps trying so like quarter acidly, not even half acidly, like quarter acidly will try to like be friends with the kid. So she's like, well, what if we go for a bike ride? We're going to go for a bike ride. And the kid's like, I have plans. And Ger's like, do you really? I'm like, well, first, you're not endearing yourself to this kid if she's like, I'm going to go see a movie with my friend. And he's like, no, what you're going to do is ride on a bike with your weird British mean stepmom for like 6 hours to a lake somewhere.
We're going on a 25-mile bike ride.
Yeah. And you're going to enjoy it.
Get on the bike, kid. This is fucking bonding.
So they're going to go. As they leave the house, there's a bunch of garbage cans knocked over in the driveway, and Ger will pull out this dress that, as far as I can tell, so it's the same dress. It's the mom's purple dress, whatever.
Yeah.
It's dirty now. It looks like someone has like stomped all over it, but it's not ripped. As far as I can tell, they don't show you that it's ripped. And I'm like saying this because it'll matter in like 12 seconds. It just looks like dirty and balled up. But the kid like freaks out and is like, I don't want to be here. And she rides off on her bike. And I'm like, again, relatable. So she rides off to cool down. Ger's character pulls a Ger character move and is like, what if, hear me out, we fuck? And the woman's like, yeah, okay. So they go inside. They do that. They will wake up to the garage being on fire. The kid will come home after that. And then they end up having a great big fight. The kid's like, I'm just going to leave. And I'm like, you have a dead mom and your dad's right. Like, where are you packing your suitcase to? Like, where are you running off to?
Yeah.
So stepmom Martha is like, look, I'll just leave. I'll go and hang out with my friend Lucy because I like her better than all of you. Anyways, she goes to Lucy's house. I will tell you what happens in a second, but the important thing is that at Lucy's house, she jumps up, she leaves, she will drive downtown in the middle of the night, and she will find kid Alice about to be, I'm going to say, gang raped by bikers, because that's how this episode goes, basically.
That's exactly what's about to happen, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so the woman, Martha, is like, get away from my daughter. I'm like, you didn't like her until 12 seconds ago, but sure. She's like, get away from my daughter. And she runs a biker over with her fucking station wagon and then goes and sees the kid and they're all fine. The end. Now, that's all the shit that happens that is explainable and understandable.
No, the last line from the kid is the like, oh, this was her working through trauma line. The one where she's like, how could she leave me like that?
Yeah.
She just died. Like, they are on the ground in this alley. There's a dead biker under the station wagon. And she's
Correct.
like, right now I want to confront my real issue, which is I can't believe my mom would ever leave me. And that's why I'm really angry. It's not you. I'm projecting.
They do feel like they have to lay it on real thick. So you get the kid's emotions.
Right here, right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, don't worry about the dead guy, the guy moaning under the station wagon, twitching his fingers. He's fine. He's fine. Don't worry about him.
Therapy.
I'm glad you guys worked out your issues. So the other thing that's happening this episode is that every time Martha goes to sleep, she has dreams. Which are, we're going to try to explain them, but there's something else. So like, at first I was like, are they prophetic dreams? And then I was like, are they things that have really happened through Alice's mind? And now I think that based on the ending, I think they're just supposed to be like Alice's like emotional whatever. Like, I'll accept the last one. They're like Alice's emotional feelings. Like, the woman will have a vision of the car turning the wrong way down the road and like getting into a car accident and hitting another car. And it's like, well, this is the kid who's like, fuck all this shit. I wish we would just get hit by a car. Like, I don't want to talk to this mean British lady anymore. And I'm like, relatable. I also don't want to talk to this mean British lady anymore. But then there's like, so I know at the end, the girl's like, why did my mom leave me? But I'm like, you're 14. You know that she's dead. It's weird that you're like, I mean, like, I guess I get it conceptually that you would be angry at your mom for dying, but also you don't seem like you're angry at your mom for dying. You're angry at dad for fucking the new British lady.
We don't know how mom died. We don't know if it was a prolonged illness or like mom had a drug overdose or something.
I think it's prolonged only based on the conversation that new wife has where she's like, I saw what you went through and like how long you were taking care. I mean, maybe she was like a drug addict for a long time, but it felt like whatever had killed her, he was trying to take care of her for a long time. He was in that caregiving role, which I love how like nothing about his relationship with new wife suggests caregiving at all.
In
no
any way,
given.
shape, or form. No. Yeah. Except that he jokes with the kid. That's the like, you can tell he's a good dad because he's using like, he's being funny. Because when she's like, I have plans, he's like, oh, are you going to go to the movies with the same friend you go to the movies with all the time? Doesn't sound like a great loss to me.
See, it didn't even to me, those didn't even read as funny. They read as like dick.
Right, but they're supposed to be the like, I'm her best friend. We're like chums. We can tease each other and shit.
Yeah, that's not how it plays out.
Yeah, because I'm a good dad. TM, 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 TM. Yeah.
It felt fucking terrible. Like he was
Yeah, but
shitty
that's
with the
90s
kid.
shorthand for he's not
Oh, I'm
yelling
sure.
at her and he's actually talking to her, which means he's a good father.
When she tries to run away, though, he takes the clothing and stuff out of her hands and whips it across the fucking room. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, like this.
Yeah, and right after he told Martha, don't make me choose.
Yeah. Which it felt so all over the place because obviously the implication of don't make me choose is I won't choose you. I will choose my own kid, which correct. That's the choice. You choose your kid over boobsy McWhat's-her-face. But then, like, immediately following it, he's... Yeah. He immediately following that, he runs after the kid and grabs the shit out of her hands and is like, "You're not going anywhere, bitch." And I was like, oh, okay. Like, and, like, I get that it's, like, your kid's planning to run away, so, like, it's not crazy to grab the stuff out of her hands. But, like, the way that it plays out felt very aggressive. Like, like extra aggressive, like more aggressive than I think would be necessary. Like, you just ground her to her room, not like whip the stuff out of her hands. It just felt like a lot. But anyway, yeah, this character's all over the place. But so her first vision is the kid like wishing she were in a car accident. And I'm like, okay, like in context, like I get it. The second one is where I start to have a hard time because she imagines taking the dress out of the closet, which the woman doesn't know that the dress is in the closet, and neither does the kid. So, like, I don't know how Dream Self has that vision.
Right.
But she imagines taking the dress out of the closet, stabbing the shit out of this dress, and then putting it in the garbage can in the kitchen. Remember how we all had, like, little garbage cans under the sink? Oh, that took me back. So the woman Martha wakes up in the middle of the night, and she's like, oh, like, did I do this in my sleep? And I'm like, I guess you could have sleep stabbed a dress. Sure, I'll buy that. So she goes downstairs. The dress is not in the closet. The dress is not in the garbage can. It is in the closet. And I'm like, okay. So then...
No, it's not in the closet.
It's not, but I know that... Is it afterwards?
Empty, she goes and checks. And it's not in there, and it's not in the trash can.
I thought she sees it in the closet the first time and not in the closet the second time. I thought she checks the closet twice. Maybe you're right. I watched this show twice and it's just become a weird, like, silly putty in my brain. Like, it's just...
I don't remember seeing the dress in the closet when she was not stabbing it.
Maybe that's what happens. I tried, you guys. My notes look like...
It doesn't really matter because it doesn't make sense. Because then he goes out and the trash cans have been emptied. That's why they're, like, knocked over on the ground.
Dumped in the street, yeah.
But the only thing in the trash can is the dress.
Which nothing should be in there if the garbage man just came. So...
Which he pulls out.
Yeah.
Which just feels like, dude, play it cool. Leave it in there and then ask your wife about it later. Don't pull it out and then hold it up in front of your daughter and be like...
Trauma bonding, yeah.
What is this? It's a dress, honey. Clearly.
Well, it sort of feels like if he hadn't shoved it into the garage, it would have felt more to me like he couldn't bear to throw it out, and so seeing it in the garbage was traumatic for him too. But the fact that it was in the garage and he doesn't seem to have any knowledge that it's in there, he's like, oh, is that where that thing ended up? Huh.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I kind of remember that dress. And his daughter's like, yeah, that's the one I got for mom. Don't you care? And he's like,
shrug.
What?
Yeah.
I'll hide it in the closet, I guess. What?
Yeah.
What's happening? I think it's just supposed to be the ambiguous one where we're not sure if her dreams are her doing the thing.
Yeah, but then at the end when we know that it's the kid, so like that's where I'm struggling. So the first one, definitely the kid, like wish fulfillment. The second one with the dress being stabbed, I get at the end where the kid's like, I'm mad at my dead mom. I'm like, okay, you've said that, so I guess you stabbing mom's dress is supposed to be a callback to a call forward, I guess, to you saying that you're mad at your mom. But nothing in the whole episode has shown me that you're mad at your mom. You miss your mom. You love your mom. You're mad at everybody else for like not still grieving with you is kind of how it feels. But okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, so she has crazy weekend sex with Ger. Correct, good choice. She has a dream about the garage where Ger had been trying to garishly fix a chair in the most Ger manner.
Garishly?
Garishly, yeah. So she has a dream about the garage, about someone, like her hands, basically, taking a gas canister and dumping it all over the garage, and the garage being lit on fire. And she wakes up, the garage is on fire. My favorite part of this is when they are in the bed together, Ger's character, no shirt on. Like, he's got the covers all the way up, like, to his clavicle, but no shirt, clearly.
Yeah.
The second he comes outside, full shirt. Full shirt.
Fully clothed.
He's like, oh, wait, is the garage on fire? 1 second, I have to put on a snowsuit. Like, here you go. Consistency. I like it. So we find out later, I believe, that the kid had been pissed off and she lit the garage on fire, that this is an actual thing that the kid actually did,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the last one, the woman, like, sees through the kid's eyes. So the kid has run away, as I said. The kid runs away. And then the woman has visions, like real-time visions of what the kid is seeing as she runs away, and as these creepy middle-aged white guy bikers with strong Alberta accents as they are coming up behind her and like catcalling her, and they basically corral her into an alley and they're going to take turns. They're going to gang rape her. Like, we're seeing all of that in real time. So again, the visions, we have one that's wish fulfillment, a second one that's wish fulfillment that seems entirely out of character, but like still, I guess like a dream or a fantasy. One that is a memory of a thing that really happened, and one that is a real-time like direct-to-video from the girl's brain, psychic vision, which is all explained by the British lady going, I guess I just wanted to connect so badly that I gave myself psychic access to your brain. That's where you went with that?
Which is exactly what she says.
That's exactly what she says.
An oversimplification. That's exactly what she said. She's like, I guess I just really wanted to connect with you. And so now I can see into your mind. Can you imagine being a teenage girl?
No.
Your dad got remarried after your mom died. And that lady is like, I know your thoughts.
Isn't that horrible? Isn't that the worst?
No, what?
And the girl ends it like, thank you for being there for me. And I'm like, no, this is where I stab myself and light myself on fire.
Yeah,
like,
this is not how you reconcile.
No.
No, stepmom saying,
mind.
Yeah, stepmom saying, I've been dreaming about you.
Fucking no. I'm letting us both on fire.
It's not where you're like, oh my God, that's so sweet. You really do want to connect with me. I'm mad.
No, we're going out together. Yeah. Ger is a widower who lost his kid now at the end of this because we are going out in a blaze of glory.
Well, a man bleeds out under her tire. And she's driving like a muscle car. She's not driving a hatchback. She's driving
it's a big car.
Yeah, it's like a muscle car. It's like a 70s or 80s like Mustang or something. It's a muscle car.
Yeah.
Yeah. She takes out the one biker and they're all like, "Oh shit." And they run away.
It's a pissed off middle-aged lady. Just run, bitch, run. Okay. I feel like literally the only part of this that makes any sense is the Ger character. There's like a scene early on in the episode where the Ger character's like, you seem upset. What if I kiss you? I'm just like, that feels correct for a Ger character. What if I kiss away your arguments? And I'm like, oh, that's a throwback to Trilogy of Terror. Very nice. And then later, when they're upset in the garage, they're having an argument. He's like, don't make me pick my kid over you. But my kid left. Do you want to go fuck? I'm trying to build a chair and I'm not real good at it.
He just picks up the whole top of a chair and
it's half a chair
and sets it on something. And then he just starts like wiggling it, like aggressively wiggling it until she comes over and he's just like, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I don't even know how to explain what I'm looking at, but that's as close as we're going to get. So he has a wooden chair of the kind that has like a full wooden back, where the wooden back has a bunch of little spindles like going around where your back would touch, and then there's like a wooden capstone cap piece on the top.
Yeah.
So and like the little wooden armrests. So if you imagine that chair and you just physically lifted up the whole top part, so you had like seat and the forelegs in your one hand, and then the everything else part in your other hand, he has the everything else part. I don't know how a chair falls apart that way. Like at most, I'm like, oh, do you just need some wood glue? And you put wood glue on the seat, and you take this top part and you go like into the wood glue, and you hold it for a couple hours, and like, ta-da! I fixed your chair. Like it's not like he has to like build a new spindle or something. There's no spindles missing. There's no like I'm like, what do you?
The chair top and the chair bottom are.
It's
not
just half
connected.
a chair. It's just half a chair. Like what are you doing? What?
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't either. It's fine.
Props guy, what is this? Like, I like how nothing in this episode up to this point suggested that he like works with his hands or he's handy in any way on account of see when he sends his wife into the garage. It's like, I don't know, clean out that shit, would you? Chop. So like, then all of a sudden he's in his garage, and like now, like 5 minutes ago, it was wall to wall dead wife shit, and now it's like, I don't know, I guess I'm a guy who builds chairs. And I'm like, are you a guy who builds chairs? Your face and body and everything we've ever seen you in says you are not a guy who builds chairs. But all right, sure, okay. And then it's not even like, you could have given me like a broken chair. Do you know what I mean? Like you could have given me something broken, and then he's got like a lathe and he's like doing something. He has something to do. Give him something to do. No, they just handed him half a chair. They're like, work with this prop. And I'm like, is this like a Who's Line episode? Like, it's the top of what is this? So he takes it, he moves it over to his workbench, and he kind of looks at it like, shit, I got 2 beats before she's going to come in. So
Wiggle,
I'm
wiggle.
gonna touch it. Yeah, I'll just
Wiggle. I'm going to wiggle. I'll gently caress it. I know how to do that. I'll slap it a little. I got that one down. I'll call it a good girl chair. You're a good girl chair. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I'm gonna take this half a chair and I'm gonna see if it's level. I'm gonna look at it real hard. I'm gonna squint my eyes, and then if I do that long enough, a British lady will come in and we'll get to do a sex scene. You know? That's
When was the last time you went back to bed on a Saturday? And she's like, what? No. Oh. And then they walk off arm in arm like, yeah, forget that teenager who just stormed off. We're alone now.
It's 1993. The kid doesn't have a cell phone. I'm assuming she doesn't have a pager.
She just rode off on a bike.
Yeah, she ran away. Your kid ran away. She might never be coming back. You're gonna get some like Saturday morning delight. That's what you're gonna do? Okay, all right. I mean, understandable, frankly. In the scope of his career, understandable. In the scope of this weird non-character who works upstairs in his home office and then sometimes wiggles parts of chairs in his garage, not really comprehensible. No, but like as close to enjoyable as we're gonna get. Like I like one shut up by kissing you scene, and one there's nothing for our characters to do for 10 minutes. What if we fuck scene? I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, I'm for that. But otherwise, this wasn't even weird. This episode, this was perverse. I didn't like
a strong language.
Well. Am I incorrect? I mean, I feel like we've had things that are low budget and we've had things that are like not well written where at the end of it you're like, what's going on? We've had things that are like not great acted other than GWD, obviously. Like this just felt like...
Yeah. I liked the episode where he was... What was the one we watched where he was in Vietnam?
Oh, Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Yeah, I liked Alfred Hitchcock. As I understood Alfred Hitchcock Presents less, but I enjoyed it more because the part that I didn't understand still felt meaningful. I didn't actually understand what was happening, and I simultaneously kind of didn't care what was happening because everybody sucked, and I didn't want anybody to come out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is kind of... Like, this does feel like the characters are sketched in so little, but the parts that are sketched in are bad and hateable, and the psychic powers are all over the place. And the fact that the woman is like, oh, I get it now. No, I really wanted to be friends with you so badly. I gave myself psychic powers. It's a thing that happens to British women around Ger. They get too close. They have crazy psychic powers, and then, I don't know, their brains explode. It's just a thing.
It happens, accept it.
Yeah.
That's what happens in Dying to Know You, which would have been filmed, actually, I think the year before this. So this must have felt oddly reminiscent. They're like, okay, you're going to act with this lady. She's British. She has psychic powers. And he's like, oh, yeah, no, I've done that before.
Do you want the eyes and the teeth? I have in my truck. I can just, for 2 minutes.
Do the look away and look back. The worst vampire reveal in the history of vampire reveals.
I really liked that episode. I like
that episode. But that scene where he's like, oh, do you want to see what I am? So he like stands up and like dramatically turns sideways. And then he's like,
my favorite part of it is so the woman. So all that's important for the, I assume one person in the audience who has not watched Forever Night City Fight. Because otherwise, how do you get here? How do you get to this show? How do you get here?
What are you doing here? Stop and go watch Forever Night.
Yeah, sorry. This is for Ger, who's listening to this going, I don't remember a single thing that happened in Forever Night. It was a long time ago. I blocked it out. You people are freaks. So all that's important is that this woman has been having a bunch of psychic visions. She's psychic. Like, she knows she's psychic. But she's been having a lot of like flashbacks to scary vampire moments in Ger's life. And she doesn't know he's a vampire. She's just seeing like him eating people, and she's really confused and traumatized and messed up about it. So she's in her definitely real apartment with the door that opens backwards. Which is fine. Like rocking herself and going like a little bit crazy. Ger comes in and he's like, look, I don't want you to go full on crazy. I had that happen to a very nice Puritan guy that I knew a long time ago. I don't want that to happen to you. So the things that you've been seeing in your head are real things that I did when I was a vampire. P.S. I am a vampire. Like, so she's like, what? What the what? So he's like, look, I'm going to show. He's like, I'm not evil anymore. It was a phase. I'm done with that now. I'm going to show you my vampire face so you know I'm not just like fucking with you. And she's like, okay. So he stands up. So he is next to her. He's doing like the Ger, like I'm groping over your knees, like I'm on my knees, you're on the couch. I'm like flopping over your lap like a lap blanket. Let me just I'm real close to you. That'll probably scare you. So he gets up, he walks backwards like 6 paces. He turns and he is up to this point, he's like kind of doing the vampire with a soul thing. Like, I'm a vampire and I'm sad about it. I don't want to be a vampire anymore. It's not a good thing. And I'm sorry that I scared you. So when he turns around, he has like, he's got his eyes and he's got his fangs in and he has like sad face. Like, I'm sad to have scared you and I'm sad to be a vampire. But like, this is the only way I can prove to you like that I am what I am. Like, here's my vampire face. But in the show, which is great, I love it. It's my favorite trope. I love it. Yeah. But in the show, they like can't help themselves. So every time he has vampire face, they always add this sound of like
the growl,
a panther. Growl. Yeah, a panther snarling kind of. Yeah. So he's turning around. He's got sad face, and he's like, I'm like, no, that doesn't put her at ease. That noise. That's not a positive. That does things to me. We don't have to talk about it, but like in terms of the character, it's maybe not the best. You could have just not had because like he's not making that noise. Like it's a dubbed in noise. It's an actual cat noise. He's not a cat man. Like
spoiler alert, he is. Ger, stop. You got to stop. Sorry.
I can't help myself.
I can't. I just feel like it fits the character, but we've talked about this. You have got to stop growling. I know, but it just kind of comes out. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm deep in the vampire persona, and then I just...
The sound guys are like, we can't remove it. It's fucking, he's on every mic all at once. I don't get it. So it's, I don't know. I really liked it, but it's so fucking goofy. But like, that had much more emotional resonance than anything in this weird episode. Like,
it did. Even the jazzercise at the beginning when she's like, do, 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 like doing the jazzercise before she takes the bath where she has the vision about them getting kidnapped.
Oh, I'm going to admit something to you. I mainly watch clips.
Okay. Well, she's doing jazzercise at the beginning. She even has a sweatband and like a leotard. She's doing like
so full 90s.
She's
very
sweating
nice.
to the oldies at the beginning. Yeah.
I just like I realize like Forever Night is a goofy vampire show, but like this show thought it was something serious, sort of like I mean to a greater extent than like Outer Limits did.
Oh yeah, they took themselves very seriously.
Yeah. And it's just it's like, I think perverse is the right word. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah. Through a 90s lens, I can see where they were going.
Oh yeah. They want us to like her. And she's like, I'm trying to please my husband and I'm trying to please this kid. And like, they're all having such like an emotional hard time with me being here. And they're like lashing out at me. And the more that I try, like the worse that it is. I mean, we've all been there where you're like, oh, this person, I mean, I assume we've all been there. I've been there where you're like, oh, this person doesn't like me. I'm going to try harder. I'm going to try so hard. I'm going to make them like me. And then everyone is always like repulsed by that. Cause when you're just like, friend, people are like, oh, fucking, and they spray you with a hose. They're like, no,
I've done that.
Tried
connecting psychically though. Cause I feel like maybe that's key. Yeah.
I have not. I'm going to work on that next time. Yeah. I'll be like, oh, you think you don't like me? No, through my brain.
I can hear your thoughts.
That'll definitely make them like me.
It worked for Martha. Come on.
Did you notice that they didn't say Martha's name until the last 2 seconds of this episode? She doesn't have a name the entire time.
Yeah, I didn't even know her name. I knew no one's name. Not at all. Not in the entire episode. Except Lucy.
I was watching it again trying to take notes. Yeah. Well, yeah, Lucy. Yeah, Lucy's name gets said a bunch. I watched it again and I was like, okay, I remember the dad was Victor and I know the daughter is Alice because they keep saying Alice, Alice, Al, Alice. And I was like, okay. And I was watching it and I was like, what is this woman's name? The main character? And I was like, they got it. Maybe I just missed it. I was like, I'll keep watching. I was like, no, literally one time at the end, someone's like, Martha. And I'm like, her name is Martha? Like, fucking what? Like, you could have picked any name. You picked Martha?
They provide you with nothing. Because when you first meet up with them in the car, the girl is mad and you don't know why. And she's like, well, if we didn't pick her up first. And the lady is like, well, you know, I just have car trouble for a couple of days. Maybe we could try getting along. And the girl just goes, no.
It's my favorite part. And Gary's character is like, home run there, Al. And I was like, you know what? You married
And she
her,
goes,
okay?
"What? What did I say?" And you're like, "Okay, all right. I don't know what's happening right now." And then she falls asleep in the car and has a dream of them running headfirst into a car. And I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a he picks them up in the car the whole time episode, and eventually like she's going to find out that's prophetic and they're going to avoid an accident."
That was my thought the
Yeah.
first time I was watching. I was like, because normally I feel like that's the trope. If you have a dream and it feels weird to you, it's a prophetic dream. It's a dream of a future thing.
Yeah.
Or if it's Forever Night, it's a dream of a past thing. But it's like a dream of a real thing that has happened or will happen. Like it feels like that's how we think of psychic dreams, which is why this is so weird because some of them are things that have or will happen. Duh. I don't know. English no good. Some of them are things that have happened or will happen.
Have or
But
will
like
happen.
I'm having a mini stroke. It's fine. But some of them are just like the kids' angry wishes, and I feel like if they had stuck with either one, that would have been kind of interesting. Actually, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you're only having dreams that are like the visualization of angry thoughts this teenager has. Like all your dreams are like yourself being set on fire, the car that you're in crashing, like your husband beating the shit out of you or something. Like just something like this girl is so angry at you being in her life that you're just having all of these like self-harm dreams and you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know what they're about. You're like, is my husband going to hurt me? Like, am I going to get in a car accident? Like you're thinking that these are prophetic dreams, but it turns out just to be like this angry kid's fire starter brain, like having like mean wishes to you. That would have been kind of interesting. That would have been like really cool. But or you could have gone the traditional way, which is like the prophetic, or I guess you could have just stuck with the dreams where you're seeing through the kid. They're not dreams. They're like things the kid is actually doing. You're just seeing through the kid's eyes as she's setting the garage on fire, or seeing through her eyes as she's about to get gang raped by a bunch of middle-aged Albertan bikers. Like if you had just picked one of those three lanes, traditional wish fulfillment or seeing through the kid's eyes as like stuff really happens, that could have been less confusing and kind of interesting. Like interesting to explore. But instead at the end they were like, what if, I don't know, half of this, half of that, Ger sex scene in the middle? Done. And I'm like, what? Fucking what?
Yeah.
I see why this show is a forgotten
It's
apocryphal.
a hidden room.
The hidden room, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, did you like the opening credits, how they were like, what if the Outer Limits, but not suable? Like, I was like, what?
The Outer Limits and Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That kind of, I don't know how to explain that style, but if you've seen the opening credits of either of those shows, you'll know what we're talking about.
You are becoming a woman. You're hysterical about things you don't understand. It's okay. We're about to explain them to you.
Yeah.
Step into the hidden room.
Yeah. Where it's that sort of style where, yeah, there's like a creepy voiceover. And then everything that you're seeing in the opening credits sort of looks like a collage, but like each piece of the collage like moves around menacingly while the creepy Vincent Price murder voice talks to you like vaguely about like things that are and will be and shall never have been, the hidden room, and you're just like, what? What? Like you're telling me that you thought that you were something amazing, that you thought that you were sort of like the best episodes of Outer Limits where or like any sci-fi where you have like something important to say about culture, but you're going to present it through a sci-fi lens so that it's palatable and then people can like intimately connect with the lesson you're trying to give, but you code it in magic so that they can swallow the pill more easily, like that kind of thing. Like that's the opening credits that you gave me. So you had such a high bar. You gave me like such a high standard that I thought you were going to meet. And then you're like, what if women are dumb? Hear me out, but also maybe they're bitches and perhaps psychic. Just like, what?
Ooh.
It's weird. I feel like the time between 1993 and now never felt so wide as when realizing that this woman was supposed to be the sympathetic protagonist of the TV show. And that the kid was supposed to be crappy. And I think Ger's character isn't supposed to be anything. I think Ger's character is just supposed to be. Like, how do you have a pissed off teenage stepdaughter? Well, you marry her dad. So there has to be a dad there. And he's like, hello. He just like pops up out of a hole. Hello. I brought my own oversized shirts. And they're like, all right.
Yeah. Where is the ham on the craft services table?
Bring me my ham. It's like making a deal with a Goblin King. He's like, I will give you 22 minutes of acting in exchange for one of your mortal hams. Like, okay. That's all you want, Goblin King? And he's like, indeed. Forsooth, one ham. Like,
That's the best way I've heard it described.
I mean, because there's no dollar amount that makes sense for any of these programs. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is such a weird.
Some where you're like, oh, okay, he wanted to do that. There's definitely others that feel like he made some kind of pact, and he has to fulfill the terms whether he likes it or not, and so he just does it as best as he can. And he's usually doing a great job, but he's not often given a lot to work with.
Oh, they give him nothing. I mean, look, is he the master of shutting women up with sex? Does he get to do that in this? Yes and yes. So, I mean, I'm not mad about his performance in this, but yeah, they give him like, I don't know, maybe a total of like 6 minutes of screen time. He gets to just dramatically hold up an ugly dress a whole bunch. Like,
yeah, I'm going to go for a first ever non-applicable eyebrows out of eyebrows.
Well, but he does do the characteristics. I mean,
he does a couple, but he just doesn't even feel present in this. I guess he does the I don't know how to do normal. I can't like I
what are hands?
What are hands? What do these do if they aren't for acting? These are for acting. They are not for doing.
Is there woman to hold? No? Then what are hands? Help me.
And I suppose I could give him at least one eyebrow bump for when was the last time you went back to bed on a Saturday morning? And then they went back to sleep. Like, they didn't just go back and have morning sex and they're like, okay, I guess we'll go.
It was so strenuous that they got tired.
Yeah, they had to take nappies. Like,
well, think about it. They were there so long that the girl was able to come back from wherever she had dramatically ridden off to in a huff. She stopped at like a Home Depot. She picked up her jug of gasoline. She came back.
Well, there was a jug of gasoline in the...
Was it already?
Yeah, there was already one in there.
Okay, so that buys you a little bit of time if you don't have to go shopping. But she left, and like you don't see her on the screen anymore. Like she just rode her bicycle like far away. So she has to come back. She has to douse the entire garage, light the garage on fire, let the fire get so big that it like bursts out the windows and shit, and ride off far away enough that nobody sees her. That takes a long time. And so the whole time that's happening, I imagine, tantric upstairs bedroom sex session. I mean, what else?
Well, and then she's dreaming about it. So it's happening while they're... Anyway.
Yeah. That's a significant amount of time. You have to build that time in.
Yeah.
It's probably like 4:00 now.
And I guess he gets a couple of like... He grabs her face and kisses her to shut her up a couple of times.
That's my favorite.
So I'll just do 2 eyebrows. You convinced me. I'll do 2.
Thank you.
We got a fair number of characteristics, but he's just not in it. He's in it more than we've definitely watched him where he had a smaller role.
Oh yeah.
But not where he had such a unimpactful role. Like he's just he's there as the dad for her to marry.
Exactly. And he's there as the fulcrum between mom and stepkid, because if there's no him, then there's no stepkid, because otherwise she just picks up an angry orphan who hates her. Like it doesn't his character needs to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there other characteristics in this though? I feel like maybe it's the what are hands? Yeah. It's the kiss you to shut you up. It's the
oversized clothing, I guess.
Yeah, the never nude. Yeah, when he runs out in the fire and he's like, I got dressed first. Which I like. The inexplicable sex scene that doesn't like make any sense with the rest of the story.
Mom trauma,
yeah. He wears a tie in this. He's not evil, but he sort of sucks and everyone else sucks. So I'm gonna say that the tie is a little nod to the suckage of this character. And I don't know why I feel this way, but I sort of feel like if it's 1993 and you're working from your home office and you're wearing a tie and a dress shirt at home, I feel like you have a profession.
Yeah.
Like you're like business guy, businessman. Like I don't know how much, I mean, we had the internet in 93. I mean, like basic like dial up probably.
Yeah, I mean, he could have modemed in.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like him only playing like guys with professions. I'm gonna say there's like at least a half point, like a nod to that. But yeah. It's weird. There's like those things are characteristics, but it's weird how like this doesn't feel other than the
Yeah.
shut up with my kisses and the what if there's nothing else to do in this scene? What if we make out? And
That's
then
why
never
it felt
nude.
kind of non-applicable because it's like
Yeah.
it
They're
just
there, but they
didn't.
don't feel like they're there,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to rate this because like I don't hate this. Like I hate American Psycho 2. Like it makes me mad. I don't like it.
All-American girl.
Thank you. Correct.
You're welcome.
Well played. So like I don't hate this. Like because that one just seemed like it thought your audience is stupid. And like that's as far as it thought. This feels like it had kind of the same problem but from the opposite angle. So American Psycho 2 feels like I think my audience is dumb. This feels like it thinks we are geniuses, which like the end result is sort of the same because like if you approach it from we are geniuses, you sort of feel like you have to spoon feed the audience a little bit. Like you have to be like, no, here's the point. Are you ready? This is so amazing. Like, get ready for the point. The point is she tried too hard. What? Like, did you get it? Did you get what we did here? We had her have psychic visions of the kid's brain because she was trying too hard to be your friend. Do you get it? Do you get how smart we are? Like, which is not as hateful to me as the dick in the face that was American Psycho 2, All-American Girl. But like it's not enjoyable just for like sort of the flip side of that same kind of mindset. Like we think we're more amazing than we are and we think that you're kind of dumb, so we're going to just mash our point into your face until you get it. And if you stop breathing, that's okay because you got our point. Like, let me just put it over your mouth. So, like, I didn't hate it, but like, I didn't like it. And I think their underlying worldview of what they think is relatable and what they think is good and what they think is bad is perverse and weird and wrong and upsetting. So, like,
it's dated. I would go with dated.
Yeah, maybe dated is accurate. Perverse is how it feels. Like it feels
because it is so dated.
Yeah. Well, and then too, like the article that you read where the woman's like, no, these are real people. I'm like, if these are real people, that's awful.
That's why it died and disappeared. Yeah. Because you can't.
If you think that this is even like minus the psychic visions, that's why I like tried to describe it without the psychic visions first. Like, if you think that this is relatable, it feels like you don't know what a human person is, or you're a fucking monster. Because, like, is it relatable that, like, a new stepmom would have a hard time connecting with her stepdaughter? Like, yeah, sure, obviously. Is it relatable that the stepdaughter would resent new mom or, like, stepmom and also feel kind of angry at her actual mom for dying and feeling kind of lashing out at her dad for marrying this new woman? Like, is that understandable and relatable? Like, yeah. Is the way this episode puts those characters together in any way understandable or relatable? Like, no, they all fucking suck. Like the scene with the woman in the garage being like, oh, look at this dead bitch's ugly dress. Well, she's dead now. Ha. Like, I'm like, oh, like what? Like, if the rest of the episode is you going, I'm trying so hard. And then you couple that with a scene of like throwing this dead bitch's lipstick out. Fuck her. She don't need it now. I'm like, oh, like that's not. Those characteristics don't become a human person. Those characteristics become like a weird mutant that lives in a sewer. Like that, it doesn't make a person. It makes something wrong and weird. I don't know. So, fuck. I rate this out of enjoyability. That's the worst scale. The worst fucking. I was like, what if I pick something truly just subjective and that'll be my scale? And I trap myself with that for 30 fucking episodes. Okay, I should keep like a list somewhere of what I rate things. And maybe someone will be able to tell me what I've rated things. But I In terms of enjoyability, out of 10 sloppy wet kisses, I mean, I do like when he's like, shut up, shut up.
Good.
That is one of my favorite characteristics. They're like, no, what if I shut you up with my tongue touching your tonsils? Will that shut you up? Like, what? Ger, are you wearing your vampire fangs for this? You're not a vampire in this episode. He's like, I don't do a makeout scene without my vampire fangs.
They make me feel pretty.
I'm gonna go with a 3 sloppy wet kisses out of 10. Cause like 5 or higher, I actually enjoy.
Higher than Ikwe.
Well, that's like everything I was gonna say. Ikwe is probably like a what?
You have rated
0.75.
some things lower than Ikwe. It is not the lowest bar. Actually, I think American Psycho : All American Girl was the lowest.
Might be the lowest,
rated
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Because like this had some moments of enjoyability. Because like I said, like the you're complaining, shut up, I'm gonna kiss you till you shut up. I'm like, that's funny to me every time it happens. And it's good that it's not a trope now in a lot of modern stuff we watch, because that would be really disturbing, I think, as a female audience member, to watch something like set in the modern day with modern people where they're like, you're yip-yapping too much, female. Like, shut up now. I'd be like, I don't, it feels retrogressive. But in this, in 1993, and because it's a Ger characteristic and it's like funny to me, I really enjoy watching him be like, oh, you're yip-yapping? There's like 6 more pages of dialogue. I don't want to hear that. I'm like, yeah, that's objectively funny. I really like
accurate,
that. And
I like it.
Yeah. And I like the characteristic of, we're going to have a sex scene. You're going to know that it lasted like 8 hours out of context. You're not going to see any of the sex scene. I will be fully clothed. Also objectively funny.
And yet one of the sexiest sex scenes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Somehow the sex scene that we do not see, where he's like putting on like layers. He's got like a parka. He's got like his face. You just see like 2 little eyes peeping out of the little parka hole. Like, it's funny to me. That's really, really funny to me. So yeah. Those 2 things together, that's like a 1.5 plus a 1.5, and that gives me a 3. And so that's how I land on a 3.
I think that's a good place. Yeah, I think it's a good place to land.
Yeah, like it's hard for me to explain. Like I stand by my statement that this is perverse, but like I didn't hate it. I feel like that's hard to.
I get it.
Yeah. Like
I feel mildly indifferent about it.
I mean,
like it happened to me.
Yeah.
Like a car accident. No. Like Airwolf physically hurt me. Like I felt harmed by Airwolf.
Yes.
It was so aggressively bad. It felt like
No, that's true. That's true. This is much better than Airwolf. Yeah. There were days after watching Airwolf where I was like, where was I going? What was I doing? Where am I? Like, I think it gave me a little bit of brain damage.
Yeah. But this was like, it was okay. It was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I said, I get why this is lost media. Based on the level of quality from this one episode, I do not think it should become found media. I am okay with that. I am okay with never seeing another episode of this. At some point when we update the secret YouTube page, or maybe Patreon, I don't know, we'll find a place to hide
our
this.
YouTube page is only secret because I don't do any SEO any whatever the somehow we have 82 subscribers, so I believe this is me growing the YouTube channel organically.
You're saying organically, and I'm hearing lazily, but like whatever. At some point.
That's my word for it. That's my word for it.
at some point, this garbage episode of a garbage TV show, we will
upload. Yeah, it'll probably be the thing that gets us a bunch of subscribers.
2,500 people being like, "Oh my god, the show is real." I will say that like on our for anyone who doesn't know, all of our episodes, they get uploaded onto YouTube at the exact same time as they go onto like all the podcast apps. And it's not, you don't see us because you don't need to see that, but they it's just like a static image, and then it's just the audio. You can see like how many people have watched the episodes, and the ones where I'm like, I'm really proud of this, we did a really good job, fucking like one person will have watched it. The ones where I'm like, this show sucked and I hated it and I'm mad about having watched it, and like no one is ever gonna watch this show ever in real life. Like 4 million views, and I'm like, what? Like fucking what?
They're like consistently the highest viewed.
Yeah.
The Ger Can Get It episodes. Yeah, not 4 million, but 4 million in like relation to the other ones, like 47,
Correct.
50, 55 views. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah, the other ones have 1 view, and so anything like these are like a multiplier
And
of
comments. Maria is always gracious enough to comment on them. Thank you, Maria. We do read them.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank
But
you.
sometimes they're like other people, and I'm like, you're not one of us. Who are you? How did you find us?
Like
interlopers. Like I'm just like, what is going on here?
This is a safe space.
But it's funny because it's like it's never things that I can predict. Because like I know like a lot of people really like Airwolf. They don't like this season of Airwolf. And like I think Slings and Arrows is one of the ones that had a lot of people watching. And I was like, I didn't realize that Slings and Arrows had like such a huge fan base. I mean, I don't know. It just always strikes me as funny. Like the ones where I'm like, no, this is a good one. People are like, pass. No, thank you. No, don't want it. But the ones where I'm like, has anyone even heard of this program? Like it aired like one time at midnight in France, like on a Tuesday. No one will ever have seen it.
Cats and Dogs is one of the highest.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cats and Dogs.
Yes. And I'm like, are these people in France like watching this with like the subtitles turned on? Like, salut, comment ça va? But I don't know. It just always strikes me as funny where I'm like, are you serious? You fucking really? All right, sure. I mean, the more the merrier. It would be cool if those people stayed and maybe watched more than one episode. But that's fine. I won't take it personally that you listened
that's what
once.
The 82 subscribers are there for.
Well, the 82, that's for your whole YouTube channel, isn't it? Like that's for everything. Yeah. Yeah, it's not 82 people listening to this.
No, it's pretty stable, which I think is interesting. We'll lose 1 or 2 every once in a while, but then we'll gain a couple more. I would expect it to fluctuate, but
I'm doing what I can to bring all the fans to your network with my
which means my total lack of SEO optimization, which is actually search engine optimization. So I'm repeating myself. Is not attracting bots. So this is a quality control thing as well. Organic.
Yeah.
Quality.
No, I like how you were like, you hear lazy. I'm hearing quality control. I like how you flip that on its head. That's impressive. That's really impressive.
It's so much to figure out.
Look, I taught myself how to edit.
I also taught myself how to edit. And I taught myself how to make a website and do all and now I am faced with SEO stuff, and that sounds like
it's
work.
hard to be an internet celebrity. Oh, speaking of internet celebrity,
if you like us, tell your friends. Okay, that's my search engine optimization. If you're listening to this and you're like, "Wow, Meg and Rachel are really funny," tell 5 of your friends.
This is not the kind of podcast you can tell people that you listen to. I feel like. And I accept
5
that.
Complete strangers. Just hand out a business card.
Just walk down the street. Hey, there's this weird podcast. Do you know who Garrett Wynn Davies is? Do you want to listen to a podcast about him?
There is a podcast called the Frank Welker Wonder Hour, and they are going through Frank Welker's entire filmography.
That's Freddy from Scooby Doo.
Yeah, the voice of him.
Yeah. I know who Frank Welker is.
Yeah, they're doing his entire filmography.
But he's been in like 10 million cartoons.
Correct.
He's been in every cartoon.
Correct. Yeah. And so I follow them because who doesn't love a ridiculously niche podcast?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't.
And I'm like, we got to support each other. The really, really out there niche.
But speaking of your life, certainly not mine, but your life as a budding internet celebrity, we need to say thank you to Kelly because we made a grievous oversight in our previous episode about the gathering. Excuse me.
Yes.
The Gathering Part 2, the second gathering. We gathered together.
I was gonna say we gathered together.
I feel so bad for this guy that like we're just sticking his name in every fucking word because we think it's so funny.
He knew what he did.
I know. When he was born. What? Yes. So, when we gathered in Toronto, Kelly was gracious enough to join us, and in addition to getting us really objectively funny bingo cards, and like objectively hard work, bingo cards. Kelly gave you and I a set of, of vampire earrings.
Yes.
So they're like lips with little vampire fangs. I think if I remember correctly, I haven't worn them in a little bit. They have little beads on them. So we wore them with our vampire outfits when we went to Selva, which is the place that used to be the Raven, and we wore them to the Rom, and we just, they added to the vampire glamour of the
They
evening.
did.
And
Yes.
I was treating that as a gift from a friend, but Kelly would, I think, prefer us to say that it was a gift from one of our top fans, which is fine. I won't take that personally. I mean, I thought
It's
we had
true.
something. It's fine. She can be both. You can be both.
Two things can be true.
Yeah.
Friend and top fan.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes someone starts as your fan and then they like worm their way into your life. And,
Elite Discord member.
yeah. And then, I don't know, maybe they like start a podcast with you and travel the world. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's
happens.
weird how that happens. It's weird that it's happened twice now. So thank you very much, Kelly. We do appreciate. I feel bad that we did not mention that in a previous episode. So I would like you to know from the bottom of our hearts, we very much appreciate the vampire earrings, and I will do my best to stop making so many vomit noises in every episode. But like,
that's a lie.
I will try to cut down on them, but like sometimes like barf happens. I don't know how to. Sometimes he's in gross stuff.
Just blame the stuff we watch. Don't blame us.
I mean, yeah.
Don't blame the blade. Blame the blacksmith.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's really Ger's fault for being in a lot of stuff that makes me go. But I'll try and do that less in the future.
She says making actual vomit noises while promising to not make vomit noises.
I'm aware of the slight disconnect there. Yeah.
Okay.
But thank you very much, Kelly. We appreciate it.
And that's it. And bye.
Fine. On that note, friends, bye.
Bye.